Wait a minute, you're gonna tell me that there's a team comp that professional teams play that is easy enough for me and my friends who are bronze to play? Hey, that's pretty cool. Hello summoners and welcome back to another ProGuides video. I'm your host Kellen and today I'm excited to talk to you guys about some upcoming team comps that you could use during Clash. We're going to cover 5 different team comps that you and your friends can use to dominate the Rift with, 2 of which were recently used by a professional team. Also, feel free to trade out any picks as you see fit with your teammates based on their champion pool and what they're comfortable with. If there isn't going to be flexibility in one of the comps, we will let you know. I'm super hyped for the next upcoming Clash since, the last one didn't completely crash and break the game, so things are looking pretty good. But would you mind doing me a favor and answering our question of the day? What is your favorite Clash memory? Or if you don't have one, a memory of playing some games with your friends? For me, mine has to be those pre-30 blind picks when we were all learning the game together. We all thought random stuff was OP like Garen jungle, lifesteal Lee Sin top lane, and Lux as an ADC, literally building marksman items like Static Shiv. Anyway, let us know down below. Are you getting ganked in your own lane, constantly demolished? Well, don't worry, we've got you covered. ProGuides is the #1 proven way to quickly level up your League of Legends skills. Whether you're looking for tier lists, champion guides, coaching, or courses from your favorite pro players, ProGuides is where you'll find them. Even players like Nightblue, Bunny Fufu, Loco Doco support ProGuides. So what are you waiting for? Click the link to start improving right now, and let's get into the video. The first team comp we're going to run through you is a very straightforward one. No matter what rank you are, it is definitely possible to abuse this comp. It will be Ornn top lane, Olaf jungle, Cassiopeia mid, Misfortune bot lane, and Leona support. This comp has a lot of crowd control. Actually, every single member has at least a little bit. This team comp's main goal is to team fight and hard win those fights. You'll have Ornn for engage as well as the item upgrades that he provides for his teammates, obviously giving you more damage. There's a lot of valuable items that he can give to his teammates like an Obsidian Cleaver, Molten Edge, or Rabadon's Death Crown. These items will not only help the scaling, but it will also allow the side members of Cassiopeia and Misfortune to be powerful late game champions. Cassiopeia is going to be the primary carry in this team composition, with Olaf and Misfortune doing a lot with leads if they find them. In this team comp, you are pretty free to exchange any jungler or mid laner that you would like. The reason we do suggest Cassio though is because she can act as some kind of late game assurance, while Olaf's strong early game can ensure that the team doesn't fall too far behind. You'll have Olaf's strong dueling power leveraging his teammates through their weakest moments, or playing around bottom lane because that's going to be the strongest lane in this team comp. With such an aggressive bottom side of the map, you'll also be able to heavily pressure the dragon as well. By the time mid to late game comes around, make sure to look for any fights as you can and take any opportunity that you have. If you want to initiate with Ornn, you can do that. If you want to look for flanks with Olaf, you can do that. You'll want to play fights front to back, with MF using her ultimate to zone or chunk out enemies that are clumped up together. Unfortunately, one weakness of this team comp is that it does lack a lot of peel. Leona is the only reliable hard crowd control on this team, so you'll find yourself in a much better spot being the ones initiating the fights yourselves, and of course, if you have the lead and you are the one that's strong, this team comp will be infinitely better. The next team comp is going to play around lane dominance. Misfits ran this comp in week 4 day 1 of the LEC to take their upset victory over G2 Esports. This is a solid team composition to run on the red side because Sett is a very clearly powerful competitor in the top lane, while Xayah and Rakan are an iconic bottom lane duo as well. The big question mark in this team composition is your mid lane. While Misfits used Azir as their mid, they saved this pick for last as a counter pick. As a result, it's going to be in your best interest to do the same and not copy this team comp to the T. Make sure that you hold that final pick for your mid laner, give them whatever champion that they feel confident they can carry with. Whether it's for lane dominance, lane priority, or just simply comfort, make sure that your mid laner is in a position to do the job that they need to do. The team comp itself is very well rounded. While it's not as simple as just pressing R on Sivir, you do have all of the tools that you'll need. Rakan provides your hard engage, and you have a decent amount of utility with Xayah, Echo, and Sett. Depending on which mid laner you pick, you could also choose to 1-3-1 with this team composition because Echo and Xayah have plenty of wave clear to hold turrets by themselves. Alternatively, Echo can push a side lane when necessary as well, especially if there are no objectives up, that way he won't miss out on being there for a smite. You'll want to play around whatever winning lanes that you end up with. In many cases, you'll have 2 or 3 because of how broken Set is, as well as the lovebirds down bottom. As the game progresses and teamfights start to break out, make sure to clearly and carefully assess who the strongest members on your team are. This could be anybody, honestly. You'll either want to dive the enemy backline or play fights front to back based on your final draft, as well as which champions are the most fed. If your Set and Echo are popping off, you'll want to have Rakan support them and leave Xayah to fend for herself, probably playing more passively. If Xayah or a hypercarry mid laner are the strongest members of the team, you'll instead want to do everything that you can to support them and peel and help. The best part about this team composition, if you take out the Azir like we said, none of the champions are excessively difficult. I think most teams can utilize this team composition since the picks are all quite powerful, and even if Rakan is a little bit more difficult as a support, it becomes even easier to play if you do have a Xayah to back you up. The strength of this next team composition relies in its incredibly powerful mid-game. If you're a team that likes to look for early team fights or skirmish victories and snowball those leads to take over games, this is the team comp for you. Take Aatrox top, Elise jungle, Zed mid, a marksman with crowd control like Jhin, Ashe, or Aphelios, and a Thresh. This team composition has a decent amount of crowd control and can easily make picks, as well as vision denial to really make the most of this team comp. It's going to fall off later on into the game, but you're going to have to prioritize vision control, and of course, like we just said, that vision denial. Aatrox and Zed are super strong, safe laners that you can pick anytime during the draft. Ideally, at least one of your lanes should end up winning, so make sure to hold off on certain picks based on who needs the counter pick. If your mid or top laner is confident, try to prioritize their champions and have them pick blind. Both of these champions excel in many different matchups or can at least neutralize the ones that are a bit tough. Your main goal will be to utilize the power of Elise in either of the 3 lanes. Both Aatrox and Zed deal a lot of damage, meaning it should be easy ganks for them, and Thresh and the marksman with CC should also be easy ganks for Elise to capitalize on. The game will be blown wide open if you are able to find a lead in any lane. If any lane can get a favorable trade or even get a solo kill on their own, take advantage of this fact. Use Elise's insane dive potential to your advantage, and then punish enemies who are trying to farm under their turret while being too low. If possible, have Zed and Elise roam together. The amount of damage that they bring as a duo is insane and should ensure the success of any dive. Another great thing about this team comp is how effectively the lanes can roam around. Whether Zed wants to roam to a side lane, Thresh wants to help out a solo laner, or Aatrox wants to come dive the mid laner with Elise, there's plenty of potential to make plays outside of your own lane. If you find yourself falling behind while playing this team composition, you're going to have to try to cheese your way back into the game. Set up a control ward or deny vision in brushes and try to ambush enemies. Pick an enemy off, force an objective, and do your best to claw back into the game. One champion that's been absolutely dominating the Rift is Cassiopeia. She has proven over the past couple of patches that she is a pick that you cannot ignore. Something more players need to be aware of is her potential to be a bot laner, and in this draft you'll want to draft Cassiopeia early on and then go ahead and use her as a flex pick. Whether you are blue or red side, showing an early Cassiopeia is going to be a safe move, since a lot of players, especially those who aren't familiar with drafting, will just assume that she's going mid. You will likely get to see either the enemy mid or bot laner early on, and can always opt to switch this team composition up by throwing her in the mid lane and then taking a different bot laner. When you do want to throw her bottom, feel free to run an AD mid laner, since you've got the magic damage covered with your Cassiopeia in bot lane. A pick like Zed or Talon would be ideal, that way they can dominate their lane and are relatively safe picks. Since you're picking the Cassiopeia early on, it's likely that the enemy mid laner will show their response as a pick to Cassiopeia, allowing your team to counterpick with an AD assassin. Ideally, you'll want to pair Cassiopeia up with Nami in this team composition. Overall, it'll look something like Ornn top, Rek'Sai jungle, a Zed or Talon mid, Cassiopeia bot, and Nami support. Nami's new E will allow Cassiopeia's abilities to slow her targets and do more damage, meaning her all-ins will be even more potent. Picking Rek'Sai will allow your team to look for aggression in any lane, and she deals a lot more damage and can approach from different angles, allowing her team to really start snowballing. In this comp, there's a good amount of peel with Nami and a reliable engage with Ornn's ultimate. Nami's abilities can be used more aggressively as follow-ups to engages, and overall this team composition should allow for a mix of front-to-back teamfights, as well as opportunities for members to dive the enemy's backline. Finally, let's wrap it up with another team composition that we saw pro teams use. This is a team comp that Origin ran on week 4, day 1 of the LEC. It is Gangplank top, Karthus jungle, Ornn mid, Aphelios bot, and Leona support. The mid lane pick can be a little bit strange, so feel free to replace it with something else that has a lot of crowd control if you prefer that instead. However, for mid laners that are more comfortable giving him a try, definitely don't hesitate. With Gangplank, Karthus, and Aphelios on your team, picking Ornn enables his teammates to really pop off. Honestly, it feels like we can't stop mentioning this guy. He's undeniably a powerful pick in competitive play at the moment, but if you don't want to play him, you should at very least throw a ban at him because of how much power that he really brings. The main proponents of this team comp, however, are the Gangplank and Karthus combo. With their ultimates combined, there's basically no way that the enemy bot lane isn't going to die. The scaling with this team composition is also insane. It's one of the best in the game. All three carries fight our contenders as being the best in their role during the late game, so you can definitely take it slow and use this team composition's strength. You'll want to make plays in the bottom lane whenever possible. Having Ornn roam bot can lead to some solid ganks, especially when backed up by a Karthus and Gangplank ultimate. It is literally the definition of a global press R to win comp. This team also has a ton of tools to start fights with. Gangplank's ult can cut off an enemy's escape route, Ornn's ult can then get things started, and then Leona can dive in head first, Karthus can slow enemies with his wall, and Aphelios can also snipe his opponents with Gravitum empowered ultimate. The possibilities are endless, and a lot of these tools can be used to disengage as well. What the team lacks is mobility, but they make up for it with plenty of slows and crowd control. Once again, play around your bottom lane with this team composition whenever possible, and use those global ultimates. Anyway, that's going to wrap it up for this video. Thank you very much for watching. If you want more content like this, make sure to check out ProGuides.com as well as the rest of our YouTube channel. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. And until next time, good luck on the Rift, and we will see you all next time, and good luck on Clash as well. And we hope that you and your teammates have a good Clash run.